What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dunkel Productions podcast. It's your boy Dunkel here, and today we are going to be breaking down the top 10 teams heading into this season's college football season. Very excited to do this video. You guys voted yes, 83% to it on the Instagram poll yesterday that you guys wanted to see this video, so we're dropping it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? We are back at it again with more football content. This time, though, we're switching up a little college football, little, Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, and all the boys. Little talk about all them boys. Very excited to do this video. Let's get into it, guys. We're going to start off 1 to 10 today. We're going to do the number one team first. The number one team in the country headed in to this season of college football is none other than the Oklahoma Sooners. I think this is a fairly easy one. Most people have Oklahoma number one, whether it's in a power ranking or just on pure talent. I think that Spencer Rattler has a lot to do with it. Best quarterback, I think, in college football. A lot of people believe that as well. I think he has a chance to really lock in his spot at the top of the draft board, either 1, 2, or 3. In my personal opinion, up there with Sam Howell of North Carolina and Kevon Thibodeau, I think, of Oregon. So Rattler really has a chance this year to cement himself as a top 3 pick in next year's draft, maybe even a number 1 overall pick. I think this one's fairly easy too because they have Lincoln Riley, who you saw this success that Lincoln had with Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and now you talk about Spencer Rattler, who's another guy that's very talented. Spencer can make plays with his legs, and I think that'll be very good for Oklahoma. Oklahoma last season also, their defense got better. As the year went on last year, Oklahoma's defense improved greatly. So I look for them to take another step in the right direction. They do have a lot of players returning. That's another reason why I think they're going to be really good this year. Oklahoma Sooners number 1. The number 2 team in the country, this is kind of a little bit more difficult because you have a lot of teams that you can throw here. But I'm going to say it's the Ohio State Buckeyes. Now, obviously, Ohio State lost the Ohio State. Buckeyes lost Justin Fields to the NFL draft, was drafted by the Chicago Bears. I know, ripping the chat, boys. So Justin Fields is not playing in the NFL. We'll see him on Sundays. But hey, man, when you bring back probably 2 top 5 wide receivers in the game of college football in Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, when you bring in a top 5 tight end, when you bring back a top 5 tight end in Jeremy Rucker, you bring in a very good defense. You talk about that defensive line. I think they're going to get even better. Bringing back, I believe it's Tommy Togiai is coming back. Very excited to see him play some ball. And I don't know if Haskell Garrett's still there or not, but the Buckeyes, they got so much talent. Larry Johnson going to get them boys playing well on the defensive side of the ball, especially on that D-line. Also, Sevyn Banks coming back. We saw him improve as the year went on last year. He was a big key to the Buckeyes getting to where they got to in the national championship game last year. Sadly, lost to Alabama, but I think when you look at Ohio State, they got a really talented quarterback room with a lot of 4 or 5-star guys. It'll be interesting to see who wins the job there, but I think whoever starts at quarterback will have success, and it makes it easier when you have Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jeremy Rucker, Jackson Smith as well there, and I believe Julian Fleming is still there as well. So the Buckeyes are a very deep and talented team. They come in at number 2. Number three, another difficult one because, we still have the reigning national champions here. We still have Clemson. We still have Georgia. You know what? I'm gonna go Georgia here because I think bringing back JT Daniels is going to be a big key to their success. Obviously, Kirby Smart. He does great on the defensive side of the ball at Georgia. I would expect them to be a top 10 defense yet again this year. I have Georgia coming in at number 3 because I think, when you talk about Pickens, when you talk about Daniels, when you talk about their running game too, they have a really good 2-headed monster that they're bringing in as well. and their defense. I mean, their defense speaks for itself. Last season was one of the best in college football, and they're returning a lot of guys, and they're bringing back JT Daniels, who last season got better as the year went on, and I think he'll only improve this year. Georgia at number 3, I like their coaching and their quarterback. Number 4, man, I think this is a tough one, but I'm going to go with the Alabama Crimson Tide. One of the reasons I don't have Alabama in my top 3 is, well, they lost Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Christian Barmore, Mac Jones. Those are guys that I can just think of off the top of my head. You talk about Najee Harris as well. Those are 5 guys who were starters, impact players last season. You had 2 receivers, a quarterback. I know they're bringing back Josh Mechie. I know that Alabama is always good with developing guys that have one of the best recruiting classes year in and year out. I expect Alabama to make it to the college football playoff. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying we kind of need to pump the brakes with them a little bit to see if they can rebound after losing all these guys to the NFL, because they did lose a lot of guys. I mean, those 5 guys I just mentioned aren't bad players. They're very good. They're very talented. They made a lot of big plays for Alabama. They were the real reason, that Alabama made it to that point. Obviously, you got Coach Saban still there, and I think, Nick Saban will lead these boys, get them right, and Alabama in at number 4. Number 5, I mean, you got to go with one of the most talented programs in college football, the Clemson Tigers and Dabo Sweeney, man. When you talk about this team, when you talk about Clemson, you talk about a team that always comes into the season with one of the best defensive lines, underrated offensive line. DJ back at quarterback for them. I'm really excited to see what he can do. Obviously filled in last season against Notre Dame for Lawrence. So, yeah, I think DJ has potential to be a Heisman candidate this season. Dabo will get them boys right. I ain't worried about Clemson. I think they're going to be a good team. But I just have some questions about, you lost a generational talent in Trevor Lawrence. Let's see what DJ can do. Let's see what this receiving core can do as well. Justin Ross is coming back. So I'm interested to see Clemson play this year. And it'll be interesting to see what Dabo does without Trevor. So that's the top 5. Now we get into number 6, man. I mean, number 6 is tough. Number 6 is tough, boys. But I'm going to go with the Texas A&M Aggies, the Aggies. Jimbo Fisher, man, has done a great job at Texas A&M. I think I really look for Texas A&M to build off of some of the success they had last season. Bringing back one of the better running backs in college football, very excited. Their defense also, another defense that really improved as the year went on last year. Obviously, A&M, I think, will benefit from having fans back in the stands. You saw that. You saw that in 2019. A&M's fans are absolutely insane. It's one of the best college atmospheres. And, I mean, they got a lot of talent on that roster, on that team. I have them at number 6, slightly ahead of number 7, Iowa State. So Iowa State, A&M 6, Iowa State 7. I have A&M slightly better than Iowa State. But Iowa State is a team that's returning 20 of 22 starters. They returned Breece Hall, who's one of the best running backs in college football. They returned one of the better tight ends in football. They returned their head coach, Matt Campbell. This is a sleeper college football playoff team, especially with all that experience on both sides of the ball. I really look for them to go crazy, have a great season, and I cannot wait to watch Breece Hall play, one of the most electrifying players and talents in college football. I have Iowa State at number 7. I think they're poised for a big year, and they will compete in the Big 12 with Oklahoma. Now is where it gets tough. But I think when you talk about this team, number 8, you got to go. Got to go Notre Dame. I think you got to go Notre Dame. I mean, Brian Kelly and what he's done at Notre Dame, consistently improving his program each year in, year out, had one of the top recruiting classes. I really am just saying Notre Dame here because I believe in Brian Kelly. Obviously last season got blown out against Alabama in the college football playoff, but Alabama was arguably one of the most talented teams in college football history, maybe. So no shame in losing to them, boys. Obviously they lost by a lot, but Brian Kelly, he's done a terrific job at that program. I think Notre Dame, they're in for another great season. I believe they're out of the ACC and they're back to their normal schedule. So it'll be interesting to see how the playoff committee kind of views that. But I'm really interested and excited to see Notre Dame play this year and see how good they do after this last season they just had. Number 9, man. Number nine. This is tough. So we have a lot of teams right now. We have a lot of teams that are good. Okay. We have a lot of teams that are good. But again, I think this one's pretty straightforward. I think it's Oregon. I mean, when you talk about what Oregon has, they have the best defensive player in college football, in my opinion, by far. In Kevin Thibodeau, I believe is his name. Mario Cristobal, I believe, is still there as well. Oregon is unbelievable. The recruiting class, the talent that they have on that team, I think their defense is going to be really key for them this year. Obviously, when you have one of, if not the best defensive player in college football, you would expect your defense to be top tier, elite level. So yeah, I think that Oregon in at number 9. I think this is a team that has potential to win the Pac-12, to maybe make a run at the college football playoff. The hard part for me is they have Ohio State and Ohio State. I don't see Oregon going into Columbus and beating them. Now, obviously, I could be proven wrong, but I just don't see that happening. I think Oregon's, 10-11 win team this year and, probably wins the Pac-12, probably makes the Rose Bowl. That's what I'm kind of thinking right now. Now, number 10 is, number 10 is not an easy team to rank because you have so many good options. You really do. You really do. But again, my whole thing, and I'll say this again, it comes down to me, talent on your team. What do you bring to the table? All the above. And I think it's UNC, man. I think it's UNC. UNC is the 10th best team in college football. When you talk about a guy like Sam Howell coming back, when you talk about the job that Mack Brown has done with that football program, it has been unbelievable, without question. Unbelievable what he's doing there. Sam Howell also coming back. Has potential to be a top 5 draft pick, has a chance to really solidify himself as a top player in college football, and I cannot wait to see this man get on the field this year. So the top 10 is, you guys ready for this? Oklahoma number 1, Ohio State number 2, Georgia number 3, Alabama number 4, Clemson number 5, A&M number 6, Iowa State number 7. Number 8 is Notre Dame. Number 9, Oregon. And number 10, UNC. That's my top 10 college football rankings. You guys will leave down below your top 10, what you guys thought of my top 10 as well. And also, who's a guy that you're most excited to watch in college football this season? Thank you guys so much again for watching. Keep making every moment matter. And see you guys next time here at Duenkel Productions. Peace out.